But I'm an addict that's in recovery, and at this moment I have the disease arrested. I am not cured of anything as far as addiction goes. I've been clean. My clean date is October 20th, 1995. I started in the early 70s as a result of the Vietnam War. I wasn't in Vietnam, but I had contacts that the Vietnam heroin was coming in from Thailand, Vietnam, and that's where it started, coming through the mail. And then once that dried up and the Vietnam War dried up, then I just went to the streets. What happened was my chemical history is one of normal. I started drinking alcohol at about 12 or 13 years old. Alcohol made it easier for me to gravitate to marijuana at about 15 years old, and from there tried some pills, things of that nature, and then eventually at about 23 years old I started using heroin. When I started with the heroin addiction, this was where I would come to purchase the narcotics, the heroin. So this was an easy place, and inside the bar you purchased the narcotics and actually could administer and inject the heroin in the bar itself, in the bathroom. The last 10, 15 years of my addiction, Clairton was the spot I went to. I was the kind of guy that at one time told a guy to pull over on a side road and use the headlights to find a vein in my arm. On a cold winter night, I remember that. When I purchased the heroin, my goal was to get out of Clairton without being apprehended by the police. But as soon as I got out of that jurisdiction, I would either pull the car over or the guy driving, and I would administer the drugs while he was driving. But somebody once asked me, why would you shoot heroin at 9 o'clock in the morning or at 7 o'clock in the morning? And I used to have a joke, so I could shave. I was so dope sick, I just used so I could function again. It wasn't even about euphoria no more. I could not. I was so physically addicted, I had to have the drugs to get through a day, or I could not function. I got a lot of health problems going on, but that's a big key component to, especially with an opiate addict, is exercise. Well, it took me physically about, I'd say, a couple weeks physically that I started feeling symptoms of addiction. But as time went on, it got to the point where I couldn't hold a job. It's about 4 or 5 years it was a full-blown addiction. I got up, and if I was opiate sick, dope sick as they call it, I had to go out and commit crimes to sustain my addiction. The crimes led to basically some burglaries, but chronic shoplifting. A lot of shoplifting. I had a buddy that just died in the last year or so from this addiction, but we would get up and we would literally, it was like a business, we would call a fence up and ask them what they needed for the day. We'd take a list and then travel outside this county because we got too well known around the stores and malls, and we'd go outside the county and shoplift what we could get and come back and fence it and then go purchase heroin. Well, eventually the shoplifting turned into, well, it was criminal behavior, and then I started getting arrested, and I started going through the county jail system, doing 4-month sentence, 5-month sentence, some things of that nature, and then it got to the point where I went in front of a judge here in Fayette County and got sentenced to state prison. What was my lowest point? Probably getting served divorce papers when I was in the county jail. I was married 8 years. I have 3 children. Oh, as far as their side of it, they had just gave up. I had no correspondence with them or anything of that nature. And once I got served the divorce papers, I gave up. I was so hopeless that I remember saying, I just don't care anymore. I didn't care. I've gained back their trust and love and understanding. I really have. I have 2 grandchildren, 2 great-grandkids. And I'm actually, today, my daughter will call me and go, Dad, I need you to babysit the grandkids. So I've come a long way, because at one time, like I said, the shame and guilt I induced on them, being in my name in the paper in the crime roundup and that, I really shamed them. And today I have a great relationship with him due to years of sobriety. It took him a while for me to get my trust back with him, but yeah. Last time I did 8 years in prison total. I was going in and out. As they said, I was doing a life sentence on the installment plan. And the last time in there in 1995, through the grace of God above, the obsession was lifted while I was sitting in the state penitentiary. And that's where I got clean and sober at. So now I had to work a 12-step program. And one of the steps is to make amends to people, and the first person I had to make an amends to was myself. And I'll say this, a heroin addict ain't scared to die, we're scared to feel. Because when I would find a batch, and many others that were heroin addicts, if we found the batch and heard about somebody dying from the certain batch of stamp bags, that's what we gravitated to. If it would kill you, it must be good. An addict is not scared to die, we're scared to feel.